Dari Nowkhah's with us. Dari, it's got to be a different SEC Media Days for you, right? I mean, your ties to Oklahoma, it's bigger, it's in Texas, there's a lot of stuff going on here.
This has been fun.
Yeah,
this has been really fun. It's funny, the OU and Texas news feels like it was 10 years ago, right? Even though it was just 3 years ago. I'm just glad it's here. I'm just glad it's finally, the time has come. We see the schedules in front of us. They're playing SEC games. They're playing for an SEC championship. But it's cool. It's cool in Dallas. They've done a great job here. It's a beautiful hotel, nice and convenient for OU and Texas both. And it was surreal when it became official that they were both coming to the league. Now it's just the reality, and let's go play some games.
Well, and to play some games, Oklahoma's got a very tough schedule.
Yes, they do.
But that's why they came to the SEC,
that's right? That's right. Yeah, what are you're going to complain about this? And I was talking to Brett Venables in Norman last week when we did the Welcome to the SEC show, and we looked at their schedule and Texas' schedule, and there's no question Texas is a little bit easier. But he goes, what am I going to complain about the schedule? We're in the SEC. Like, what do I expect? Right? I'm going to replace one tough game with another pretty tough game. They're ready. They're going to face it. They have no choice but to face it.
I don't want to say the SEC is wide open, but you look at a team like Georgia, they got a rough schedule, and they're on the road for a lot of their big matchups, right?
That's a nasty road schedule, yeah.
You got Missouri, who doesn't have the hardest schedule, but they need to do it 2 years in a row.
Sure.
You've got teams like A&M that have made changes that we think the right change should result in wins, and in double-digit wins at some point soon.
Thought that before, though, right?
We have, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But the problems A&M has had, beyond some of the coaching issues they've had, is injuries, right? You can't lose your starting quarterback every year and expect to win.
No question. I look forward to seeing what Mike Elko does there, and it feels like they're in a good place at the quarterback position. We know they can recruit. We know he's done a good job in the portal. The pieces are there. We talk about, everybody talks about the resources that they have. As I look at A&M, the one thing, and I know A&M fans feel the same way, is they just didn't take advantage when they had Texas, when Texas was down, right? Yep. And now here comes Texas again, and like it or not, they're always going to be connected at the hip to them. And I think one of the great storylines this year is who has a better, more positive season in whatever measure you want, wins versus expectations, who's playing for championships, whatever, between them and Texas. Because, listen, I would love for A&M to have been in a better position when OU and Texas come into this league. But it's a new start, and as we know, in this era in college football, you can flip something in a hurry, thanks to the portal and NIL and all that, and nobody's in a better position than A&M is.
I'd love your perspective on this, too, because I feel like what happened on the baseball diamond has affected what's like just the energy. Like we can't wait for that baseball game, much less that football game.
Yeah, we can't either. We're already trying to figure out how we're going to do our Rally Cap show live wherever that first Schloss battle is. But I would think so. It just spices up the rivalry a little bit. It's funny. I'm in Omaha. I was in Omaha for the championship series, and A&M and Tennessee, and they're getting ready for Game 3, and we're actually staying at the hotel that A&M stayed. A&M was at the same hotel where we were, and you walk through their lobby that morning when Texas fires David Pierce, and one Aggie after another looks at me and goes, "How Texas is that? How Texas is that?" And I just love it. I just love this stuff that's going to create storylines, add to a great rivalry. So. No, it'll be special when they play in football.
See, I looked at it as how Texas is that and how classless is how I looked at it.
Right, well, but I think the A&M fans were equating Texas with classless. It was all one word, right? Or they're synonymous.
But now I think everybody got what they want. We love Schloss. He was great while he was here. Yeah. Now we don't. Now we have another reason to hey, let's get back to football here. I look at LSU as another team that I look at their schedule. I think is manageable. I have my questions about their defense, as they do too.
Right.
And the offense can't be as good as last year's. It just, it doesn't happen very often. Yet I don't know if it has to be.
Well, and that's what Brian Kelly says too, right? He's like, one, we'd like it to be close. They believe in Nuss. Meyer, he's been there forever. He clearly knows the offense, and it does. I'm with you, and I think it comes down to the defense, honestly. It's what Blake Baker installs. It's how much more disciplined are they on defense. Everybody wants to talk about a certain linebacker and how they're going to utilize Harold Perkins, but I don't know how much that matters if you can't get pressure to the quarterback, if you get gashed in the run game. He'd certainly be a part of that, but it can't just be him. It can't be just where you play him. They were breakdown after breakdown, and that's why they went out and got a guy from Missouri and Blake Baker who had turned that defense into something that should be certainly well respected. So I think it certainly does come down to the defense, but I don't look at LSU at this point. When you look at a Georgia, a Texas, an Ole Miss, maybe an Alabama, and say that LSU is in that top tier, I wouldn't put them there yet.
Last thing for you, it feels right at 16 right now.
Yeah.
Who knows what the future looks like? But for now, I feel like not only is Commissioner Sankey saying the right things, it feels like that's really what they're doing. They're really holding up.
I've gotten to know him fairly well. I don't believe he just says things to say things. You know, I'm sure he takes calls. Heck, he says he takes calls. But unless he feels, whether it's a Clemson or a Florida State or a UNC or Virginia or whoever, will bring legitimate value, not just financially, but in terms of brand, in terms of being the kind of, having the kind of commitment to athletics and academics and everything as a university that he wants, he's not going to waste anybody's time by bringing him in and trying to figure out how to split the revenue share and all that. So, no, he's happy with 16. Let's roll with it. I am too. I think everybody is.
Dari, thank you, sir.
You got it. Anytime.